Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Haikal Hakim bin Hasmi. My metric number is 311490. We are from Group 9. Today, we will present about the application of Ijma and the collective of Ijtihad by the Fatwa institution in Malaysia. In the study of Islamic jurisprudence or fiqh, we look forward toward the foundational sources that guide legal reasoning, while the Quran and the Sunnah is a primary sources. There is a third essential component that ensure the stability and adaptability of the law, which is the ijma. Ijma is commonly translated as a consensus. In the context of usul fiqh, it refers to the unanimous agreement of qualified Islamic jurists on a particular legal ruling. It serves a vital bridge when the primary text or sources, which is the Quran and the Sunnah, who do not provide an explicit answer to a new society issue or legal question. When the scholar reach a collective unanimous conclusion, they will do ijma, so they can make a conclusion based on this process. The role of ijma is one of integrity and stability. It ensures that the interpretation of rulings remains consistent across generations. Once a consensus is reached by the mujtahid, the ruling becomes binding for the Muslim community. They can providing a clear path forward for the future generation. Alright, let's look how this applies in the modern context, especially in Malaysia. As a country where Islam is the official religion, Malaysia operates within a structured and institutional Islamic legal framework. However, it is important to note a distinction. Malaysia does not practice ijma in the strictly classical sense, which is every single mujtahid scholar worldwide must agree about that. Instead, the roles of state religious authorities and official bodies serve to create a localized consensus that governs the religious affairs of the nation. Whether in the classical form or through modern institutional legal bodies, ijma remains an essential component of the faith. It allows Islamic law to remain a living law, one that can address the complexity of the modern world while staying rooted in the wisdom of the past. That's all from me. Thank you.
Today, I will present about collective ijtihad in Malaysia. First of all, what is ijtihad? Ijtihad is process where a qualified Islamic scholar tries very hard to find Islamic ruling for new issue. This issue are not clearly mentioned in the Quran or Sunnah. According to scholar, ijtihad means using full effort until a scholar reaches a strong and confident decision. Because of ijtihad, Islam stay flexible and suitable for all time and places. Secondly, there are two types of ijtihad. The first is individual ijtihad. This is when one scholar studies and decides a ruling alone. The second is collective ijtihad. This happens when a group of scholars discuss an issue together. Collective ijtihad is often used to produce fatwa. Ijtihad is process and fatwa is the final decision. Thirdly, history of collective ijtihad. Collective ijtihad started during the time of Khalid Abu Bakar radhiyallahu anhu and Khalid Umar radhiyallahu anhu. When new problem appear, they gather their companion and discuss the issue together. This practice is based on shura, which means consultation in Islam. In the past, the decision happened naturally. Today, collective ijtihad is done in official meeting with selected experts. However, in Malaysia, collective ijtihad is very important. Many modern issues are too complex for one scholar to decide alone. So, Scholars work together with experts. Institutions like the National Fatwa Council use this method. They study the issue, discuss it in meeting, listen to experts, and then approve a fatwa. This makes fatwa more clear, practical, and relevant. Last but not least, how Malaysia practice it. Malaysia has two main bodies, the National Fatwa Committee and the State Fatwa Committee. They include mufti, scholar, and expert, such as doctor, scientist, economist, and legal advisor. Expert explain technical matter, while scholar study Islamic evidence, and then decisions are made together, not by one person. Lastly, there are many examples of collective ijtihad. Malaysia, for action, doctor explain medical facts, and scholar decide based on Islamic principle. For Islamic finance, economists explain financial system. This show collective ijtihad is practical and effective. Collective ijtihad has many benefits. It makes fatwa more accurate and trustworthy. It increases public confidence. Islam adapt to modern challenges. Most importantly, it keeps Islamic ruling relevant while staying true to Islam values. In conclusion, collective ijtihad play a very important role in Malaysia. It combines Islamic knowledge with modern expertise. It follows the principle of shura, and it helps guide society in facing new issues.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good day everyone. First, I will begin with the first section. Ijma refers to the agreement of qualified Muslim scholars, also known as mujtahid, on a specific Islamic ruling after the passing of Prophet Muhammad SAW. It becomes an important source of Islamic law when there is no clear ruling found directly in the Quran or the Sunnah. Several scholars have defined Ijma. For example, Imam Al-Ghazali described Ijma as the agreement of the Ummah of Prophet Muhammad SAW in matters related to religion. Meanwhile, Imam Al-Tusi explained that Ijma is agreement among mujtahid at a certain time on religious matters. This definition shows that Ijma is not just a personal opinion but a collective scholarly agreement. The importance of Ijma lies in its roles in maintaining unity, stability and consistency in Islamic law. When scholars agree on a ruling, it helps prevent confusion and contradiction, while ensuring that Islamic law remains relevant across different times and situations. Next, in Malaysia, Ijma is applied through a modern and institutional approach. Achieving Ijma is at a global level today is very difficult, so Malaysia practice what we call as institutional or localized consensus through fatwa institution. Bodies such as National Fatwa Council and State Fatwa Committee discuss issues collectively in structured meeting. When all members agree on a ruling, it reflects the spirit of Ijma even though it is limited to a national or state level. This approach strengthens the legitimacy of fatwas because decisions are not based on one individual. In addition, Malaysia's legal framework supports this system. Once a fatwa is approved by the Sultan or the Yang di-Pertuan Agong and gazetted, it becomes binding on Muslims in specific states. This helps maintain order and avoid confusion caused by differing personal opinions. Now, I will explain the next section. Malaysia apply Ijma mainly through fatwa decision making at both federal and state level. These decisions are made through collective ijtihad, where scholars work together with experts from different fields. At the federal level, the National Council from Islamic Affairs coordinates fatwa discussions, while at the state level, each state has its own fatwa committee and Sharia court system. When consensus is achieved, the ruling is implemented by the state authorities. Instead of requiring an anonymous agreement from all Muslim scholars worldwide, Malaysia adopts a practical approach by reaching consensus among qualified scholars within the country. A clear example is during COVID-19 pandemic, where religious authorities collectively agreed on social distancing during congregational prayers to protect public health. This shows that Ijma in Malaysia is applied in a structured, realistic and context-based manner, while still preserving Islamic principle. And finally, one key feature of Ijma is Malaysia is the emphasis on unity and agreement among scholars. Fatwas are discussed truly in official meetings to ensure consistency and credibility. A good example is in Islamic finance, where Fatwa Council agree on the prohibition of interest and approve Sharia compliant banking product through consensus. Another example is halal food certification, which is based on agreement among religious authorities regarding halal and tayyib standards. Decisions made at the national level then guide state authorities to ensure uniform application. Overall, Ijma is considered the third main sources of Islamic law after the Quran and Sunnah, and it plays a crucial role in guiding Islamic legal decision in Malaysia, especially for modern and complex issues. In conclusion, Ijma in Malaysia helps ensure that the Islamic rulings are consistent, credible, and suitable for contemporary society. Through collective agreement, Malaysia's fatwa system continues to uphold Islamic principle while addressing modern challenges. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So now, I will discuss the challenge of collective ijtihad in the Malaysian fatwa institution. Collective ijtihad is very important in addressing modern and complex issues, especially in areas such as Islamic finance, medicine, technology, and social matters. However, its implementation faces several challenges, which I will explain one by one. The first challenge is the inconsistency of fatwas between states. In Malaysia, each state has its own Islamic religious administration system. Although the National Fatwa Council issues fatwas at the national level, each state has the authority to accept or reject them. As a result, difference between decisions may exist between states, especially on issues such as Islamic finance, medical matters, and halal products. This difference can cause confusion among the public, especially when people move between states or get information from social media. This situation makes it difficult to achieve uniformity at the national level. The second challenge is the lack of experts in highly specialized fields. Although Malaysia has many Sharia scholars, there is still a shortage of Muslim experts in new fields such as artificial intelligence, cryptography, blockchain, bioethics, and molecular medicine, who also have strong knowledge of Sharia. Because of this, during fatwa discussion, scholars sometimes have to rely on external reports or non-Muslim experts for technical information. This makes it difficult for the collective ijtihad process to be fully comprehensive and strong from an Islamic perspective. For the third challenge is the long and complicated consultation process. The fatwa issuance process emphasizes accuracy and careful discussion, which often make it time-consuming. Some issues require several meetings before a final decision can be made. For urgent matters such as pandemics or new technologies, delays in issuing fatwas may cause people to seek unofficial source or foreign opinions that may not suit the local context. This can lead to confusion and the spread of unreliable information on social media. Next, for another challenge is public understanding of fatwas. Even though fatwas are issued through a collective process, many people are still unclear about their status and authority. Some believe that fatwas are compulsory rulings, while others see them as opinions that can be ignored. This confusion becomes more serious when fatwas differ between states or when online opinions contradict official fatwas. This lack of understanding affects the effectiveness of fatwas in guiding society. And then, for the final challenge, is the influence of social media and the instant mufti phenomenon. The rise of independent speakers, religious influencers, and online preachers has made people more likely to follow individuals' opinions. Sometimes, these opinions are given without proper collective ijtihad and may contradict official fatwas. This phenomenon challenges the authorities of fatwa institutions and can cause confusion and division among Muslims. In conclusions, this study shows that the use of ijma and collective ijtihad by fatwa institutions in Malaysia is extremely important in ensuring that Islamic rulings truly meet the needs of today's society. In a modern world filled with new complex issues such as financial technology, advanced medical treatments, and rapid social change, scholars can no longer rely on individual opinions alone. Instead, fatwa decisions must be discussed collectively by qualified scholars and experts from various fields to ensure accuracy and relevance. The practice of collective ijtihad by institutions such as JAKIM and the National Fatwa Committee prove that fatwas in Malaysia are not merely personal views. Rather, they are results of structured discussions, carefully evaluations, scientific evidence, and consideration of maqasid syariah. By involving experts in medicines, economics, technology, and academia, the fatwas produced become stronger, more credible, and suitable for contemporary challenge. However, this study also highlights several challenges that need attention. This includes difference in fatwa decisions between states, a shortage of experts in certain specialized fields, and the influence of social media on public perceptions. These challenges do not weaken the role of fatwa institutions, but instead shows that continuous improvement is necessary in the fatwa-making process. To conclude, Ijma and collective ijtihad make the Malaysian fatwa institutions unique and authoritative. With better coordination, increased expertise, and stronger public communication, Malaysia has the potential to become a leading example for the Islamic world in addressing modern issues through a firm and Sharia-based approach.
Makes it hard.